I love her. Like I love Beyonce. JayZ too, I really admire the both of them.
Educated gangster rapper, that's all she could come up.
The internet is going wild with one question shaking the very foundation of pop culture's most guarded dynasty. Rumors are swirling that Beyonce is absolutely shattered after court papers allegedly revealed a bombshell nobody saw coming. Whispers claim Kelly Rowland's son, Titan, may not be who the world believed he was, with shocking talk that JayZ is actually his biological father. If that turns out to be true, we're not just looking at a messy scandal. We're staring at a betrayal so deep it could rip apart lifelong bonds, childhood friendships dissolving, the roots of Destiny's Child crumbling, and Beyoncé's flawless, untouchable image suddenly cracking wide open.
On how you got what you are, how you stepped on many people.
This isn't just gossip. This is a secret with the power to rewrite over 2 decades of music history. Love stories and fan devotion in one devastating twist. Picture the fallout for Beyoncé, a woman who built her entire empire on loyalty, power, and total control. She's weathered public cheating scandals, stood tall through JayZ's messy confessions, and kept her crown spotless. But now, the whispers say her best friend, her so-called sister, may have carried a child that belongs to her husband. That's not just messy. That's earth-shattering.
Beyonce.
Gorgeous, a stab to my self-esteem.
Word is, behind those mansion walls, Beyonce is spiraling, feeling the walls of her private kingdom closing in. Court documents, the kind insiders claim were never supposed to see the light of day, have reportedly surfaced, sparking chaos online. Screenshots, snippets, and leaks are already flooding timelines, adding fuel to the frenzy. The name Titan is suddenly tied to what many are calling the family's deepest, darkest secret. And whether these papers are real or not, the damage is already brutal, because the suggestion alone slices straight through Beyoncé's carefully crafted image of perfection.
It's genius. Like all of his projects, I thought it was really...
The internet wasted no time tearing into what they claim was evidence hiding in plain sight. Side-by-side pictures of Titan and JayZ are flooding social media, spreading like wildfire with captions screaming that the resemblance is undeniable. The jawline, the nose, even those subtle expressions that mirror JayZ's old photos. Fans are losing it.
What you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever.
Some swear the likeness is way too strong to ignore, while others brush it off as coincidence. But the debate has already gone viral. And once the internet smells a storyline like this, it's nearly impossible to stuff that genie back in the bottle. For Beyoncé, who has built a world where every photo is curated and every image released with surgical precision, seeing her husband's face mirrored in her best friend's son is a narrative she can't control, and it's only throwing more fuel on the fire.
I can't be mad at her because that is what the media portrayed.
Now, people are circling back to Kelly Rowland's 2013 track, Dirty Laundry. Back then, it was praised for raw vulnerability, a song about pain, abuse, and hidden struggles. But with these rumors flying, fans are dissecting every lyric under a whole new spotlight. Lines about betrayal, manipulation, and secrets buried in plain sight are suddenly being read as hidden clues to a love triangle nobody dared to believe. Some are even asking if Kelly used her music as a confession, venting her turmoil but disguising it as metaphor. Did the world miss the message because the truth felt too outrageous to face?
None of that. It's like, I just want the truth, and it's so hard to get it from the courts. And it seems like JayZ don't want to say anything, so, I don't want to see him go down for something that, you could have just got taken care of. That's it.
Industry insiders remind us that artists often lace their real lives into lyrics. And now the resurfacing of Dirty Laundry feels like a breadcrumb trail, one that nobody was ever supposed to follow until now. Then comes the money trail, the rumor that's blowing the roof off this entire scandal. Word is JayZ has allegedly been sliding payments to Kelly's family ever since 2014, the very year Titan was born. That one detail has the internet in a frenzy, with fans debating if these were just generous Godfather gestures or straight-up hush money meant to keep a dangerous truth buried. The timing is way too perfect and way too suspicious for people to ignore. If JayZ really was sending steady payments all these years, the question becomes unavoidable. How much did Beyonce actually know? Was she part of the silence? Or has this betrayal been playing out in her own home behind her back?
And keeps benefiting off the same kind of tragedy over and over.
For nearly a decade, the thought of Queen Bey, the most in-control figure in the entire music industry, being blindsided under her own roof feels unthinkable. But that's exactly why this rumor has teeth. It feeds the fear that even the most powerful can be destroyed from the inside. This revelation doesn't stand alone, as it's layered. On top of JayZ's history of messy entanglements and scandals that never fully disappeared, let's not forget, he already admitted to stepping out on Beyonce, famously pouring his guilt into music while their marriage nearly fell apart. Their albums, his and hers, became a soundtrack of confession and survival. But if Titan is really his child, that entire narrative collapses.
Oh, no, when I get nervous, I tell the truth.
It's no longer about a couple clawing their way back from infidelity. It becomes a decade-long deception against his wife and the woman Beyonce has always called her sister. How does anyone recover from a betrayal that deep? This isn't just a marriage hanging by a thread. This is the unraveling of Destiny's Child's legacy, a bond fans believed was rooted in loyalty and sisterhood. The same fans who once idolized their unity are now replaying every smile, every hug, and asking, was it all hiding a painful truth? Old interviews are resurfacing too, like the one where Kelly reportedly left a dinner with Beyonce and JayZ in tears, never explaining why.
Affair, I saw your mother-in-law so proud of. Yeah, we support each other. That's what we.
At the time, fans thought it was just emotions and nostalgia, but now it's being rebranded as a possible crack in the facade. The weight of secrets pushing through. Every cryptic glance, every red carpet run-in with JayZ is under a microscope. Even his stunned expression when bumping into Kelly at that premiere is being questioned. Did it show warmth like siblings? Or was it the raw, awkward shock of a man forced to face someone tied to a truth he's tried to bury for years? And then comes the brutal twist of irony. Just months ago, Kelly Rowland was publicly praising JayZ after he blasted the Grammys for snubbing Beyonce. She told reporters, "Sean Carter is one of the greatest men I know and his words ring so loud to me." But now that same quote is being replayed with a chilling undertone. Was she shielding him? Covering for him? Or simply speaking as a loyal friend caught in the middle of something she never asked for?
That major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about JayZ and his nefarious past, okay?
The internet doesn't let coincidences slide, and that line has become another piece in the puzzle. Fans are dissecting it, turning it into fuel for theories about how deep these bonds and betrayals really go. And if those payment rumors are true, stretching back to Titan's birth, it forces a darker question. Has Beyonce known this whole time? Has she been quietly swallowing the storm to protect her brand, her kids, and her empire? Or is she just now discovering it the same way the rest of us are, through whispers and leaked court documents? Either way, the picture is devastating. If she knew, then she's been living a performance more flawless than any stage show, selling the illusion of perfection while privately enduring the kind of betrayal that could shatter anyone. If she didn't know, then Beyonce, the very woman who built her empire teaching the world about control, has been blindsided in the most personal and humiliating way imaginable. And the silence from everyone involved? It's only making the tension thicker by the day. What happens to Destiny's Child if this rumor refuses to fade away? Their legendary image of sisters against the world is already splintering under the weight of speculation.
They don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their brand.
Beyonce, Kelly, and Michelle Williams built more than just a group. They built a brand on sisterhood, loyalty, and survival. A bond that outlived chart wars and solo ambitions. But if JayZ's name is truly tied to Titan, that nostalgia can never feel the same again. Fans who once worshipped them as untouchable role models are now asking whether Destiny's Child was just a fairy tale cover, a glossy story hiding a reality nobody dared to speak about, and for Beyonce, who crowned herself queen of modern pop royalty. This storm cuts far deeper than music charts. This is about her legacy, her marriage, her motherhood, and whether the empire she's guarded so carefully can survive secrets that feel way too explosive to keep buried.
Grammys and everyone, and never won Album of the Year. So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work.
And when you pull back from the chaos surrounding Titan's rumored paternity, a darker pattern starts to take shape. One that fans and critics are now re-examining with fresh eyes. JayZ has never been a stranger to whispers about secret children and hidden affairs, but now those whispers feel louder than ever. Long before Titan's name ever surfaced, there was the saga of Rymir, the young man who fought for years in court claiming JayZ was his biological father. That case dragged on endlessly, bouncing through appeals, with Rymir insisting he was being blocked at every turn by Jay's legal maneuvering and financial power. At the time, many dismissed it as opportunism, but now, with Titan's name fueling today's firestorm, those old headlines are crawling back out of the shadows. Fans are stitching the pieces together into one explosive narrative, that JayZ's empire wasn't just built on music, business deals, and hustle, but also on his ability to bury personal scandals before they could ever stick. And Titan's paternity scandal isn't the only cloud dragging JayZ's past back into the spotlight. Old allegations from the late 90s and early 2000s, especially the controversial whispers about his relationships with younger women in the industry, are now being rehashed with fresh outrage. Even Nas fueled the fire in his infamous diss track, dropping bars that implied JayZ had crossed boundaries with protégés like Foxy Brown. Foxy has repeatedly denied those claims, brushing them off as fake news. But the rumors never fully died. Now, with Titan's name igniting today's storm, fans are digging it all back up, pointing out how JayZ was nearly 30 when he started appearing alongside teenage artists, blurring the lines between mentor and something far more questionable. In hindsight, those blurred lines look even more unsettling stacked against the current scandal. The question people can't shake is heavy. Is this just coincidence or part of a long-running pattern? A pattern of control, secrecy, and manipulation that the industry turned a blind eye to because of JayZ's unmatched power? We can't forget that the public's trust in JayZ has been rattled before. His own music gave us the confessions, the infidelity, the near collapse of his marriage, moments where he admitted he almost lost Beyonce. That saga, immortalized in Lemonade and 444, was sold as a redemption story, a man owning his mistakes and a woman choosing forgiveness. But now, with Titan's name in the mix, that redemption arc looks paper thin. If Titan truly is his son, then it was never about redemption at all. It was about concealment. Fans are starting to believe JayZ hasn't been learning from his past, but perfecting the art of burying it. A pattern of damage control where scandals don't disappear, they just get swept under the rug until the headlines move on. And now, with every old rumor crawling back from the shadows, those cracks in his king-like image are widening. This brings us straight into Beyonce's family circle. Because when the silence is this loud, someone is usually working overtime behind the scenes to hold it all together. And no figure looms larger in that role than Tina Knowles. For decades, she has been positioned as the matriarch, not just of Beyonce's life, but of Destiny's Child as a whole. She's long referred to Kelly Rowland as her daughter, written glowing tributes, and presented herself as the glue binding this surrogate family. But now, with the Titan scandal casting shadows everywhere, fans are revisiting Tina's role with suspicion. Could she have known more than she ever let on? Did her instinct to protect Beyonce's empire push her to shield JayZ from scrutiny, and by extension, silence Kelly? It wouldn't be the first time a powerful matriarch orchestrated quiet damage control to keep a dynasty intact. Suddenly, every polished family portrait, every warm post, feels like it might have doubled as a cover-up. The question becomes unavoidable. Has Tina been the silent architect of the Carter Knowles image all along? Managing not only Beyonce's career, but also the dangerous truths threatening to shatter it. She's fiercely defended Beyonce from critics, celebrated JayZ with glowing words, and showcased loyalty that always looked like love. But now that loyalty is being reread as pure strategy. Think about it. If Tina knew the truth about Titan, then keeping the family brand spotless would require silence at all costs. For Beyonce, being betrayed by her husband is crushing enough. But the idea that her own mother might have played a role in the cover-up? That takes this from a marital scandal to something generational, hinting that the entire Carter-Knowles dynasty may have been protecting a secret too explosive for the world to handle. At the same time, JayZ's long history of ties with controversial figures like Sean Diddy Combs, and the lawsuits constantly swirling around those circles, only deepen the cloud of suspicion. Every time new allegations land on Diddy, JayZ's name somehow drifts to the edges. Sometimes it's mentioned in filings. Sometimes it mysteriously vanishes, as if scrubbed away. Fans can't help but notice the pattern. He always seems to be hovering at the perimeter of chaos, close enough to raise eyebrows, yet never pulled fully into the fire. Whether it's slick legal maneuvering or the reach of his influence, the outcome rarely changes. JayZ's name gets cleared, his empire stands untouched, and the whispers fade into the background. But this time is different. The Titan rumor refuses to disappear, and it's forcing the public to start connecting dots across decades of scandals that once seemed unrelated. The question hanging in the air isn't just whether Titan is really his son, it's whether we're staring at the blueprint JayZ has perfected, a system designed to dodge accountability time and time again. Beyonce, on the other hand, has always wielded silence as her sharpest weapon. She doesn't do messy sit-downs. She doesn't rant online. And she rarely explains herself. Instead, she lets her art carry the message, lacing her albums with coded lyrics and hidden symbolism fans obsess over for months. Lemonade became her way of addressing JayZ's infidelity without ever needing to say his name in an interview. Which sparks the burning question now. Will she confront the Titan scandal in her next project? Or will she double down on silence, refusing to even breathe life into the rumors? The world is watching every move, her films, her music, her red carpet appearances, scanning for signs of betrayal, fractured sisterhood, or the pain of motherhood tangled with secrets. If history tells us anything, Beyonce won't spell it out. She'll drip-feed cryptic symbols, and it'll be up to the fans to decode the scars she refuses to name. But this time, the stakes are higher than ever. Her empire wasn't just built on music, it was built on image. She's the flawless queen, the untouchable star, the wife who endured betrayal and came out stronger, the friend who raised Kelly and Michelle with her. But if Titan truly belongs to JayZ, all that mythology fractures overnight. Suddenly, she's no longer the woman always in control, but the woman betrayed. Betrayed not only by her husband, but possibly by her best friend and even her own mother. And for an empire sold to us as perfect, that illusion might be far harder to repair than the marriage itself. Fans are already convinced that if Beyonce does respond, it will be seismic. Picture it. A visual album dripping in symbolism, a cryptic lyric slipped into a live performance, or even a sudden shift in how she aligns herself with JayZ in public. Remember, Lemonade wasn't just music, it was a cultural earthquake. It gave us catchphrases, memes, and movements, and forced millions of women to re-examine their own relationships. Now imagine if she chose to pour that same energy into betrayal inside her own family circle. The cultural explosion would be unmatched, shaking not only the music industry, but also the very idea of celebrity loyalty and carefully curated perfection. What we're left with right now is a storm of speculation, unanswered questions, and an empire wobbling dangerously on its throne. Because if Titan's paternity really ties back to JayZ, then the Carter-Knowles dynasty is staring down its greatest test yet. Can Beyonce forgive a betrayal this layered? Can Destiny's Child ever be remembered the same way? And maybe the most haunting question of all, how long has this secret been sitting in plain sight? And who in their circle helped keep it buried? So we've got to ask you, do you believe this is the scandal that finally cracks Beyonce's empire wide open? Or will it just be another rumor smothered by silence and spectacle? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.